We had a military family PCSing to Middle Georgia. They got a house in Kathleen, Georgia, which is about 15 minutes away from Robins Air Force Base. They closed on the house, they moved in, they tried to get their household goods delivered. They kept calling HomeSafe every day trying to find out where their delivery was. No answers and no callbacks. What they didn't know was their delivery was already in town, sitting in a parking lot at one of the moving companies. The government ended up paying for their move twice because it got delivered back to origin, and they didn't know where the family was because of lack of communications. Now, I was in the transportation office at the time that the global household goods contract launched, and HomeSafe took over the coordinating of all the moves for the military, and I watched it fall apart from the inside. So 1 year later, we're going to take a look at what they've done since they've canceled that contract and what to expect when you do your household goods move now if you PCS to Robins Air Force Base. So let's get busy. So the concept behind the global household goods contract was a worldwide virtual platform to be able to coordinate all household goods, unaccompanied baggage, non-temp storage, and CONUS moves to one central system where everybody can record what's going on and be more accountable and more smooth. The only problem was once they launched the system with the single coordinating effort, they realized that they were very ill-equipped to handle the sheer mass of moves that the military does on a regular basis. Now, when they launched the move, it was in the off-season around September, October, so it was a slow time. It was after the major PCS season and right before the Christmas push. So it was slow, the least amount of household goods shipments were going through, and they should have been able to handle it. But unfortunately, they pretty much fell apart right from the get-go. So this was about the time that people started putting in the Facebook pages and all this that the personal procured moves, DITY moves, were getting cut by half as much. So you weren't getting paid nearly as much as you were in the DPS system. So people were trying to put PPM moves in the DPS system because it paid more. Well, we were moving it over to MilMove, and that was the only way that it would go through. Even though you got paid less, that was the required platform at the time. And HomeSafe was in the process of doing all CONUS moves in country and coordinating just that part. So any CONUS moves like Kunsan, Osan, or Ramstein were still going through the DPS system. What the new system did was when you put in your household goods request, it came to the local TMO office to be processed. Once it was processed, you got a little bit of a briefing. Then we pass you off to a move coordinator with the HomeSafe system, and it rolled on from there. One of many problems was that the members were not getting callbacks from HomeSafe or the move coordinators. They would reach out to them. It would fall on deaf ears. They'd ask for a callback. Nobody would call back. There was absolutely no communication. At one point, we had a lot of the moving companies in our local area reporting to us that they had a truck full of household goods sitting in their parking lot that they didn't know whose it was. They had other instances where they had deliveries coming in and they were supposed to deliver to the member. The member was here, they were waiting for their delivery, but there was no paperwork to show that this moving company was getting paid to do their job. So of course, they can't do their job if they're not getting paid. And there was story after story all across the world of shipments that were either getting lost, they weren't getting delivered, or crews weren't even showing up to pack out the members to go to their next duty station. So long story short, it fell apart pretty quickly, and we went back to the old system. So let's tell you a little bit about what's going on now. So before the HomeSafe and the Global Household Goods contract started, you would go into DPS and any shipment that you wanted to request would go through that. Household goods, non-temp storage, DITY moves, PPMs. But now, since they've started the MilMove system, they're still using MilMove to coordinate CONUS shipments. So if you're going from Colorado to Robins Air Force Base, or if you're going from Kelly to Minot, then you're going to go into the MilMove system and set up your CONUS move. If it's an OCONUS move, then it still goes into the DPS system. The difference is whether it's going into MilMove or DPS, it's still staying in-house and getting routed back to Transcon like it used to, and it gets sent out for bids to vetted moving companies that know the contract and know the tender of service and know how to pack out a military move. So what does this mean for your household goods move now moving forward after 2025? Well, are they still backed up? Not really. There's still a few issues of people filing claims against deliveries that never got made or deliveries that got damaged. But all in all, it's kind of back to normal. Another change in the system is the administration has ordered a 40% reduction in PCS moves between now and 2027. So not as many people are going to be moving, which is going to hurt the moving companies, of course, but it's going to reduce the number of traffic going to and from base to base. So the remaining PCS moves are going to be a lot more manageable and a lot easier to keep up with. So if you do get orders to PCS to Robins Air Force Base, make sure to reach out to me. I've got experience in the transportation office in household goods. I spent 8 years in the TMO office doing inspections and QA for PCS moves, and I'm a realtor in the middle Georgia area, so I can help you relocate to Robins Air Force Base with as few issues as possible. Now, of course, a lot of you active duty members don't have time to come out before your orders actually finish to come out and do some house hunting. Well, we got you covered. So if you do have an area that you're interested in, or you want to get a house under contract before you actually PCS to Mill, Georgia, make sure to reach out to me. We'll sit down and come up with a game plan, help you decide what area you think you like, and I can go out and I can do some videos, show you boots on the ground what the house really looks like, give you my honest opinion, and give you a better idea of what you're walking into when you move to Middle Georgia. So as for your household goods, make sure that when you get your orders, go ahead and contact the TMO office as soon as possible. I know they might tell you probably about 2 to 3 weeks out, but if you've got your orders 6 weeks out, go ahead and contact them. Unless they're in a transition period where they're renegotiating the shipping rates, go ahead and call them, let them know when you're planning on leaving, when your report date is, and they can help you go ahead and get those moves set up as soon as possible. If you get your moves set up early, then you've got plenty of time for your coordination of your moving company picking up the pack out crews, the transition with the driver coming out to Robins Air Force Base, and the receiving moving company that's probably going to be delivering it. If you're not ready in time to take delivery when it gets here, it'll go into temporary storage with a moving company here locally. And then you're going to contact the moving company that is over the entire project, and they'll say, hey, go deliver this stuff to this family. And if you have any questions about your household goods move, reach out to me. I'm always here, and I'll see you when you get to Robins.